Hello everybody and welcome to Wildcard Wednesday. Here we are again at the Attenborough Arts Centre. My name's Dee and I'm going to be doing this session with you today. So you'll all have got your very exciting boxes with Attenborough Arts Centre on the front, and we're going to open them up and see what's inside. Let's have a little look. So this week we're going to be working with our favourite air drying clay. That's what you'll find in your little recycled plastic bag. As usual, we need to get out our plastic aprons, and you can put them on the table wherever you like. If you want to put some paper on your table to catch the crumbs and the bits and bobs, then you can. You will also find a pair of plastic gloves, COVID specials. Let's put them on. You don't have to wear gloves if you don't want to, but this clay can dry your hands out a bit, so it's useful to put them on if they're there. Also in your box you will find one lollipop stick, a few cocktail sticks, an Attenborough Arts pencil, and a couple of bits of string. We'll leave the string in there for now. And as of last time, we presented you with a few, 5 to be precise, golden tickets. So if you're one of the lucky people to find a golden ticket in your box, and it says winner on it, it's got an email address on it, and you can email to say you've found one in your box, and you will be getting a prize. We haven't decided what you're going to get yet this week, but it will be something incredibly exciting and crafty and creative. So watch out for your golden ticket, everybody. No fighting, share, be nice. Right, okay, so let's pop the box to one side. And shall I show you what we're going to make this week? Go on then. So I've got here a bird hanging and a random shape hanging. And you can either put these on your Christmas tree if you've got a Christmas tree, or you can hang them on your window or on your some kind of handle or something like that. They're quite pretty. And you should have enough clay to make more than just these two. And I've painted them just in simple colours. So you haven't got any paint in your box this week, but as before, if you're doing it in a group with your friends, in your little pods, and you want to group together, club together and buy some acrylic paints, then that's probably the best thing to do. I think we usually put a link on the bottom of the video so where you can buy some paints to share and use, and there's usually a paintbrush in there as well when you buy a set of paints. They don't need to be expensive, you know, you can guess, but acrylic are the best because they dry really quickly. So there we have it. So we're going to make those. So let's get going. There's your handy little tools. Let's unwrap our, oh that's useful. I put a stopwatch on so I could time myself. I forgot to turn it on. Anyway, there we go. Right, let's put that to one side. And you're going to pull off a lump of clay. It doesn't matter how big it is. Well, it does actually, because you don't want to use the whole thing. But, you know, you'll get to see what it is you're making. We're going to start off with the bird. So wrap the rest up, put it to one side. Don't forget to wrap it up because it will dry out in the heat of your room. If it gets too hard to handle, it's really, really difficult to work with. So keep it all wrapped up. You don't really need any water But if your room is very hot and you've got very hot hands, your clay will dry out, and I'll allow you to use a tiny bit of water on your fingertips only, just to moisten the surface of the clay. But it gets very messy if you start using a lot of water, so I advise not to. Okay, let's start off making our bird shape. Now originally I was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be lovely to make a little robin? And it did start off, I painted it as a robin, but I didn't like the colours, so I thought, no, I'm just going to go all the same. So I've painted him or her lots of blues. But if you're really good at painting, which I know some of you probably are, if you can do a kind of realistic painting of a robin on your bird shape, that would be wonderful for the Christmas tree. Okay, so let's start off. So I want you to get a piece of clay, and if you watch my hands, I'm going to show you. Now, I can already feel that's a little bit big, that piece. I'm going to take some off and wrap it up with the rest. So, what I want you to do is, we're going to make this shape. You just have to follow my lead on this one, because I can't really describe the shape to you. I want you to watch what I'm doing with my hands. So with the close-up camera, you should get a good idea of where we're going with this. I'm going to mould this kind of shape. Can you see it's going like that? And I'm going to start squeezing this piece here for the head. And I'm going to start sort of pushing the clay round to form the tail end, like that. And I'm going to bend it up like that, and then we've got the head shape, so we're going to start pulling the beak like this. Now obviously you can turn this into any bird you like. It doesn't have to be a robin. It can just be a pretend bird. Or we could say that's a blue bird, couldn't we? Because it's blue. Yeah, so it's just a kind of bird shape. If you're feeling very adventurous, you could do something like a cockerel or a peacock that have these great big tails. But you can decide yourself what you want to make. So I'm just kind of moulding the little beak like this, a bit long. Let's just pull it back in again. Now you can use your lollipop stick if you like to carve the shapes like this, which is nice, and make it really little. Like that. Just pop it there. Keep looking at it. Turn it on its side. Turn it round. And we're going to make that tail a bit more dominant. I still like using my hands the best, I think. These plastic gloves are quite useful because they give a nice soft, even smooth surface to the clay, and they don't dry it out because they're plastic, unlike your hands, which are porous and warm. So that's bird shaped. Now there's a couple of things you can do here. So we're going to start making some patterns on him. So if you get your cocktail stick, or your pencil actually, get your pencil first. It's got a bit of a crooked beak. Let's just use that under there. Like that. Okay, I want you to get your pencil, and we're going to make 2 little eye sockets now, and we're going to have those there and there. If you face the bird to you, you can get them even, and suddenly it becomes alive with those little eyes. So as you know, we're not expecting something that, you know, would go into the National Gallery here, where it's an interpretation, or as I like to describe a lot of my projects, it's essence of bird. Last week we had essence of cactuses. So this week we're having essence of bird. Now then, there's 2 things you can do here. If you want, you can get a bit of clay and you can add on some wings. So you would get, I'm just going to pull that off like that. And you can have them on the side like this. Let's do another one. So I'm just pinching out the clay, and you see it's quite thin, and then I'm just going to pull that off like that. Let's just see if they're similar-ish. That should do. Let's just squeeze that one a bit more. And you can put those like that. Or should we have them like this? Yes, downwards. That's right. Okay. So this time we're going to add some wings on. Now with this one, I didn't add any extra clay. I just scored into the clay with my pencil, scratched into it to give the idea of wings and feathers. So it's up to you. You can do what you like. But I quite like the look of that. That's quite nice. So I think we'll stay with that. So now we're just going to blend that in like that. You have to make sure that you join your wings onto the body of the bird. If you don't, they will literally just fall off when it's dry. So it's important. Now you can, if you like, join it underneath like this. Can you see I'm just using the side of my lollipop stick to join it, so you can't see the seam, like that. You can leave the top bit open if you like, to give it some wing shape. But I am going to join all the way around, because it would be awful if you made all the effort and then they just fell off. So let's do the other side now. Like little pockets. Let's do that. Join it. So when I was making this, I was thinking, oh, you could do all sorts of little animals like this. I thought a dinosaur might be quite cute. Little dinosaur. You could do a heart. Bit boring. We don't need hearts. But, you know, you could let your imaginations go wild, and if you're in a little group of people, you could sort of discuss what different animals you could come up with to make. I suppose you could do a snowman, keep it winter themed. Anyway. Or is it a partridge in a pear tree? Okay, so there's your wings. Then you can get your pencil and score into it like this. To make your feather pattern, and just pull off the little loose bits. Like that. Do the other side. Okay. If you want to do some more bird shapes, you can. Not bird shapes, feathers, I mean. You can always use your little cocktail stick and do some random marks like this, which are a little bit finer. Than the pencil. But first of all, what we have to do next is we've got to put a hole in to be able to put our string through. So I want you to stab your piece with the cocktail stick to begin with and put it in straight into the middle of the bird and push your stick down like that. Okay? All the way through. Oops, that will happen. What I really, no, I think the pencil's probably too big, but I want you to wiggle that around because you've got to be able to get the string through. And once it's dry, you can't alter the size of the hole. So it's really important that you make it big to start with. And to tidy that up, you can just use the edge of your stick like that. So have a look through the hole, make sure it's big enough. If you're not sure, just make it bigger. It won't hurt to make it bigger than you think you might need. Okay, there we go. Right, so now we're going to make some bead shapes. The bead shapes that we've got, let's have a look at them. So I think I've been asked before how long these take to dry. So I made my bird and then I put it on a radiator for 24 hours and the next day it was dry and I could paint it. I've just forgotten something else which is quite nice. If you just get your lollipop stick, no, your cocktail stick even, and just put some shapes up into the tail like this. Shake your tail feathers like that, and on the underside as well. Okay, you can even write your name in it or the date or something on the bottom so that you know when you've made it, because of course you'll have this for years and you'll find it one day and think, oh, I remember making that when I was at university back in 2020 when we were all locked down. Anyway, there you are, there's that, looking quite sweet. So we're going to make some beads. So if we get some clay, I want 6 shapes, 2 small, 2 medium, and 2 large. Roll them all up in your hands like this to make a nice smooth ball. And you can look at the sizes then, if we put them next to each other. Okay, so those are the 2 biggest. That one's got a bit too much on it. Let's take a little bit off. Put it on that one. So you can choose any shape you like of bead, obviously. But I'll show you how to do these flat ones. But actually, what I discovered when I was making this was That first one would be better if it was a round shape, because if you see, the back of the bird is round but the bottom of the bead is flat, so I think it would sit nicer if it was a round shape. So I'll take the biggest ones first and we'll keep these as the round shape. You get your cocktail stick. Now the other reason I put cocktail sticks in is because when you get your paints and you come to paint your pieces, you can put them on the cocktail stick to paint them, otherwise, and that'll save getting paint all over the place. So they're quite useful. Don't throw them away. Wait till you've got your paints before you chuck your cocktail sticks away. Right, so you're going to put it through the middle. And again, remember, you've got your string in your box. Now, some of you will have, actually I think all of you will have 2 types of string. Oops, let me just put that over. You'll have a smooth piece, like this one, cotton, and you'll have a twine, like this one. So you've got to make sure that the pieces of string are going to fit through the hole. So you just turn your stick like this, turn it upside down, and do the same on that side. And then have a look through the middle, make sure it's big enough. It's harder to get the string through when the clay is wet. I mean, you can try it, but that's not really going to work. This one's easier, but it is much easier to do it when it's dry, because it doesn't stick to the clay then. And you can just tidy up that edge. So we'll do that on each one. So this is the other round one. Let's just make it nice and smooth. Put that through the middle. If you're not sure where the middle is, you just hold it on the side in front of you and push the cocktail stick through. It should come out the other side, random, almost in the middle. It doesn't have to be exactly in the middle, because you can squash it with your fingers. Okay? And then we're going to do that again. Just neaten it up. Like that. You can always see what it looks like on the bird. Just pop it on there like that. That's quite nice. Okay. They don't have to be identical. That one's rounder than that one, isn't it? But it doesn't matter. That's the beauty of these things. There's no rules. You can do exactly what you like. My kind of teaching. Okay. Next one. Oh, I know, we're going to make a different shape, won't we? So let's have this one as a barrel. So for barrel shapes, you will get your clay, your circle, roll it between your finger like this and the table, and then I want you to tap, just press down like this. So if you want a longer barrel, you just keep rolling, roll the clay out. Okay, then you get your cocktail stick, you push it through, give it a wiggle, other end, give it a wiggle. Have a look through, make sure it's wide enough all the way through the shape and not just wide at the ends. If it narrows in the middle, you won't get your string through. So just double check that you're applying that pressure all the way through the shape of the bead. That's one. Let's get the other one. Roll it flat. and then just tap the end flat like that. Cocktail stick, put it in the middle, hold it straight and press through. And the same on that one. Double check the inside. Neaten it up. Like that. Okay. Then we get the little beads. I think these ones will have as a flat shape. If that sort of thing happens and it splits, you can just brush it over with your fingertip. So we're going to make a flat coin shape. Okay, don't make it too thin because it wants to be in proportion with the beads that you're making. Okay, that's that one. Right, so we're going to decorate these. Oh, we've got to put the hole in first. Like that, and pull it out. When you get a split like that, just smooth it over with your fingertip. And the same on that side. And then that one. I'll tell you a funny story. Last week, we put 5 golden tickets into your craft boxes, and we got 6 people emails saying they'd won, which was quite funny really, because we were thinking, now then, how does that work out if we put 5 tickets in, but 6 people won? However, I think we gave 6 people prizes. So we do know how many people are asking us for their golden ticket reward. Just bear that in mind. And if you've won by a sheer complete and utter luck, if you do happen to win another golden ticket, a lovely gesture would be to give it to one of your friends, wouldn't it, who didn't win one. The chances of that happening are probably pretty slim, but I wouldn't be able to work out what the odds are. Anyway, right, so we're going to make some patterns. So I want this one, your coin shape. You're going to get your pencil and we're going to push the pencil into the edges like this. All the way around. Like that. Love those. And same with that one. This is why you don't want to make these coins too thin. You won't be able to stick the pencil in the edges to get the shape if you do. And one more. Great little shape. So pretty. Okay, so this one, I think we're going to have tiny little dots on these. I'm using the end of my cocktail stick. Have you noticed I've got a thing about dots? Actually, it's dots and stripes are my favourite thing. Spots, dots, stripes. That can be the theme of this week's pattern. All the way around. Now, if you're being really clever with your decoration and your painting, what you can do, if you can see here, look, there's a bit of red underneath. That's because I painted the beads one colour first, and then I didn't like them. So I got up early in the morning and painted them all blue, different shades of blue, but the red shows through, which is quite nice. And I thought, well, if you were being really clever and you could actually be bothered, you could fill the little gaps with different colours, let it dry and then paint the whole thing, and then the paint doesn't go into the holes where you've already put your colour in. That would be pretty spectacular. Just depends how much effort you want to put in, really. How much time you want to spend making them. Okay, so that's that one. I'll lay it flat so you can see. Stand that up next to it, look. Let's do this one. Little dots. So we're going to be doing these classes for another few weeks. I think there's probably about 3 or 4 at least. So watch out for notification about those, or you can always look on the Attenborough website or ask the people who are in charge of your halls of residence. Okay, so that's that. Last bead, I'm going to do stripes. I'm going to use my pencil for this one because I want some stronger lines. I think this is a project we're going to do, actually. Maybe not this side of Christmas, perhaps in the spring, when we're all wearing less jumpers and coats and scarves. But I've got a lovely project to make beads. So we can make some necklaces and some bracelets. Unisex, of course, to be worn by male or female. Okay, so this is quite a nice bead shape. Ooh, it's a bit random, a bit messy, but you get the idea. Okay, let's do this one. Oops. Okay. Oh, now then, just double check that the holes haven't all been bunged up from when you were holding them. Very important. Just make sure that they're all still able to get the string in, or cord. Yep, they're okay. Right, so I'm going to put this together so you can see what it looks like. You want to tie a knot or just a single like that in one end and pull it tight. Okay, then you can get your long bead. You get your flying saucer bead. You get your round bead. You get your bird. Then we get the other way around. Your circle, your saucer, and your tube. Oh, now you see that doesn't quite work. That's because I need to alter where I've put the hole. If that happens to you, this is why it's quite good to do it while the clay is still wet. Fear not. What we can do is we can make the hole further up the bird's body. Oops. Let's put it there. Wasn't quite balanced right there. Oop. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill that little hole. I'm just going to get a little tiny bit of clay and stick it into that bit that we've changed. And voila, it disappears. And the same on the other side. It doesn't matter if there's a hole in the middle because they're not going to be fired in the kiln. So that's still not quite straight, is it? So I want it to be in the middle of the bird and it's going to come up. See. Oh, where have you gone? There we go. It was worth checking that balancing bit, as you'd want it to hang properly wherever you're going to put it. Okay, so you can just tidy that up. Let's try that again. So let's pop the bird on. Circle, coin, tube. And what you can do is jiggle it round so it works. It's easier when it's dry, it's a bit tricky when it's wet. Yeah, that's not too bad. As I said, they're not going to be hanging in the National Gallery, so you can do what you like. Right, and then, obviously, what I would do is put the string on when it's wet and rest it somewhere warm to dry out. That way you know that the holes are big enough in the shapes that you've made. And when it's dry, you can just pull them off to paint them. So what I did was, for instance, I would get the lollipops and the cocktail stick, get a paintbrush, and then you can hold it and paint round it while it's on the stick like that. Because if you're holding it with your fingers and painting it, the paint's, it just comes off all over your hands. And then you can just pop it onto the bit of your apron, the plastic apron, to dry. If you put wet paint on and you put them on some newspaper or paper to dry, the paint will stick to the paper. So really you want to put them on the plastic apron that you had in your box when you're painting them. And then you can make as much mess as you like. So when they're all painted, you can put it back together. And if you don't like the colours, as I didn't, you can just go over them and paint them again. And then I just I did a loop like that, okay? Then you fold the loop under. Actually, you need to give yourself enough so that you can do this. So you make a large loop, you fold it under like that, ooh, and then you pull that through hold the ends as you pull it through. And there you have your loop, like that. And then you can hang that on your wherever you want. Okay, so I'll just quickly explain how I did these ones. I mean, you can imagine we've got some similar shapes here, but of course you've got quite a bit of clay to play with, so you could make a few of these in different colours. We made those shapes, the tube, the coin and the circle, but I thought also you could make a star shape perhaps, or a heart in the middle would be quite nice. I'll just do it quickly for you to show you. It's always easier to start off with a ball of clay like that, circle, and then you can just squash it out into a shape. So obviously that big one in the middle, I'll just show you how I made it. I went round like this. To get your sides flat, you just roll it on your table. And then I got my lollipop stick and I made shape like that in it with the ends all the way around. Like that, like a drum. Then I got my cocktail stick, push it through the middle, make that circle nice and big. Neaten it off. Like that. And then I just want to show you this other shape you can make. We'll start off with a ball again. So if you want to do a long, I'll explain what I mean as I'm making it. Instead of having the hole going through the centre, if you want to have the hole going through like this, you have to just remember to make it thick enough. So to do a heart shape, we're going to just squash down the edges. I'm going to get my pencil and just make an indent there. Like that. I'm just kind of moulding it with my fingers. Into a heartish shape. You see that looks quite nice with the beads either side of it going up and down. You buy that sort of thing in John Lewis and they charge an absolute fortune for it. And do it yourself, it costs far less. So if you want to just smooth those down, then what you could do at this point is do your pattern before you do your hole. So I think we'll just do random. Of course, you'll have more time and you can decide what you want to do as far as your pattern goes. I mean, you could do fancy patterns like this. You know, you don't have to just do quick things like I'm doing to show you, but you can actually take a bit of time to do much fancier things. Not that this is very fancy, but just an alternative. I'll go back to dots, it's easier. Okay, that kind of thing around the edges as well. If you wanted to do that with your, like we did before, you just push the pencil in a bit further to make a deeper hole, which is really pretty. And of course, you can do any shape like this on its side. A disc, a circle, an oval shape would be really pretty. Like that. Okay? Then you get your cocktail stick, hold it on its side so you can kind of judge roughly where you're going to put it. Oops, that didn't go through quite right. That's the good thing about air drying clay. If it doesn't quite work out, you can just, right, that's where I want it to be. My cocktail stick's snapped, so, but you've got more than one, so you should be all right. Okay, so I'm just going to give that a wiggle and then go in the other end and give that a wiggle. Oh, it's split there. It's drying out, you see. But that's okay, because you can just smooth it over with your fingertip. So there's your heart. So then you've got that. And of course you can build up some other beads and put them on your string and paint them up beautifully. And lovely, really nice little hanging. You can give them away as a gift to your friends, your family, or you can keep them and just hang them up somewhere random in your room. So that's it for this week, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed that. Don't forget to get in touch if you've got the golden ticket on the email that's in the box. Have a look at the Attenborough Arts website if you want any updates on anything about anything to do with Attenborough Arts Centre. And as I say every week, stay safe, stay well, and above all, stay creative. Yay!